Welcome, I'm Jon Caldara, president of the Independence Institute and your devil's advocate. A little later in the program, we're going to be talking about the food police. You're going to love this part. Grab a Twinkie. Oh, you can't. They're illegal now. But first, a little bit of the energy debate that's coming to Colorado and what the frack it's all about. From the Energy Center at the Independence Institute, Amy Oliver Cook, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for being here. I should have worn my T-shirt.
What is the T-shirt?
Mothers in Love with Fracking.
Mothers in Love with Fracking. The new MILF.
That's right. That's exactly right.
That is a great shirt.
There are people actually in Colorado who like hydraulic fracturing, by the way.
Well, first of all, we keep hearing fracking, 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 and it just sounds so onerous. Quick definition. Hydraulic fracturing is what? A
decades-old proven process of extracting fossil fuels from the ground, and you essentially inject water into the ground, water and a few other chemicals, sand, into the ground, and you are able to extract fuels that otherwise may not have been available to you.
The fracturing is actually that the sand busts apart rock, and when you bust apart the rock, it releases the natural gas.
And in Weld County, where I live, where I'm from, they've been doing it since the 70s. There are 18,000 natural gas wells. 90% of them are hydraulically fractured. Most people don't even know. The city of Greeley, the mayor told me there are roughly 200 within the city limits of Greeley. They're on golf course. I mean, they're all over.
And it's amazing the small footprint it has compared to any other energy source. Where you talk about coal, where there's open mining,
right,
or wood, where you're taking acres of forest. Here, you know, a couple acres, and you're poking a hole in the ground and getting the gas out. But
right. And also, what is new? The reason why there's a sort of a new debate over hydraulic fracturing is they're able now to, with the new technology on hydraulic fracturing, there's directional drilling, so they're able to go through some new rock formations that previously they weren't able to do. And I will say this, I have kids, and there's hydraulic fracturing right underneath my own house, and I live in a historic area of Greeley, a residential neighborhood, but the wellhead is actually, I think, well over a mile away, or it's going to be. I signed mineral leases. I didn't even know I owned the mineral rights.
Really? You're going to get some cashola? Some free?
Yeah, big money.
Big money? Now you're a player.
Yeah.
So the technology's been around, and because of this technology, the United States is one of the wealthiest countries in the world when it comes to natural gas, which means when it comes to greenhouse emissions and cleaner burning vehicles, we could be self-sufficient for decades, 100 years. It is amazing how much this technology has opened up. So why are people getting their panties in a wad over a technology that has been used for decades? And I do mean decades. This is not something new. How did it turn into something new and such a vicious fight?
Wow. Boy, there's a good question, because it's funny, again, going back to Weld County, we've been doing it forever, and we've never seen this level of heated dialogue, and the rhetoric has really been stepped up to a point where it's almost meant to frighten instead of educate, or intimidate instead of engaging in any kind of a decent public debate.
Actually, let's talk about that debate. Now, maybe we're completely wrong on fracking, but we've
I don't think so, though, by the way. I really don't. I mean, the science is on our side.
But usually there's a debate that happens. People talk about these issues, and that debate has really changed. Longmont voted to ban fracking, which is in direct violation of a state law. This is going to end up in court. And Boulder County has now had this, and they've just had a wild scene. Now, I live in Boulder. You talk about Weld County, how wonderful and beautiful it is. I live in Boulder. Boulder is known for its diversity, its acceptance, its ability to talk out a problem. We teach our kids about conflict resolution. And so when the Boulder County Commission took up the issue of new regulations for hydraulic fracturing and other things that needed to be updated, what happened? And
let me back up real quick and just say one thing about why this has been stepped up. Environmental groups that once favored natural gas now are spending a lot of money opposing hydraulic fracturing. This is really a way to just get to wind and solar. Now, to your question about Boulder, I think it was December 4th, the county commissioners held a public hearing on hydraulic fracturing and land use in the county. And they invited, I think, Wendy Wiedenbeck from Encana to come speak there.
Encana is?
Oh, one of the major players when it comes to oil and gas and hydraulic fracturing, especially in the state of Colorado. Your three big ones are Anadarko, Noble, and Encana. And there are plenty of others. Those are just the three names most people know. So Encana, which has the leasing rights, I believe, in Boulder County, Wendy Wiedenbeck, who is their community relations advisor, went and spoke. But before she was even able to speak, a group of activists, anti-fracking activists, took control of the meeting, so much so that the commissioners walked out. A group of children then took their seats, and at one point they were even reciting.
Children took their seats?
Earth Guardians, that's what they call themselves, and they're...
Activists took the seats of the commissioners?
Well, these were like 12-year-old kids.
Really?
Yeah, well, there were some kids, and well-coached children, who then, and they recited some little anti-fracking rap, and all of the adults in the room recited it back to them. And I shouldn't say all, but because I didn't see every single one speaking, but let's put it this way, it was more than just a handful of rude adults who were encouraging bad behavior in kids. This was a significant presence meant to disrupt and intimidate.
So instead of having a dialogue, and in Boulder, of all places...
Yeah, where they're taught, they have an office of diversity.
They have an office of diversity where the university talks about these things, where we have intellectual conversations. This broke into something where activists took over a commissioners meeting,
right,
yelling and screaming. We've got a little clip here I want to show. This woman who is a representative from the evil oil company,
right, of
course, then needed to leave. And I've got to say, I've always loved Boulder, even as weird and corny as it is. This is embarrassing. It is embarrassing to me that people that I disagree with largely on policy, we've always been able to have a discussion. It's now something where you're not allowed to have a discussion. This is something where you're going to be yelled down. What are we going to see? Well,
Wendy Wiedenbeck spoke at the meeting and was there given 6 minutes, and somebody videotaped her, and of course during it at one point suggests that the community should tar and feather her bleep because they didn't like what she was saying.
Tar and feather her.
Yes, exactly, and they were interrupting her and being rude. And then as she left, a group followed her out. And John, this wasn't about people disagreeing with her. This is people trying to intimidate. Who in their right mind would want to come and say something in favor, testify in favor of fracking, knowing that this might be how they are treated?
I say, well, let's look at this clip. This is somebody who just had a different opinion in Boulder.
You ain't seen nothing yet. You do not live here.
We do not.
You do not represent our interests.
Yeah,
Go! We don't give a damn about your profit. Killers! We don't give a damn about your time. I will not let you poison my children. Quit your job. I'm not going to touch them. Quit your job. I will not let you poison my children.
Never come back to our community and make your arguments to poison our children.
This is what you get.
Never come back to our community and make your arguments.
Nightmares for your children like we do. Did you hear that nobody spoke in favor of fracking except for those who are on the payroll? Do you understand that the people do not want to be fracked here? We have spoken. Now get out of our county now. Why don't you tell us what you're making out of this? Why don't you give us your income
How much money is in it for you to poison our children?
How much you're making off of Encana and off of poisoning these neighborhoods?
Never come back.
This video goes on. They follow her to her car. They block her car from moving. As a woman, having a crowd berate you and follow you to your car, that's a terrifying thing.
It was scary, and the other, Ms. Wiedenbeck is the one with the shorter hair. The other woman was taller, blonde, was one of her colleagues with her, and you could see the fear on her face. At one point, she kind of looks over. There was also, and I don't know if we saw it in that clip or if we heard it, they say this is a shadow of what's to come. We know where you live. We know who you are.
We know where you are. Where you live. We know who you are. This is a shadow of what to come. Killers.
Yeah.
I love the part, never come back to our community. Somebody screaming, get out of our community. Get out. Now, what I'm seeing is one plain old intimidation and something that is to chill free speech. This is the kind of stuff that in Boulder, the professors talk about the days that they had to fight to just have free speech, and now up in Boulder, they're killing free speech and intimidating people. You know, in other circumstances, this would be called a hate crime, which is don't come back to our community. We know where you live. Don't come up and speak here again. You're not allowed here. But this is against somebody who works for a corporation, so it must be okay.
Absolutely. I mean, this is hate speech. This is flat out hate speech. And I put this against what we did at the Independence Institute. We actually had a debate series, and hydraulic fracturing was the topic. We had both sides were represented. We had, it was for women only, it was called Hot in the Kitchen Debate Series. And hydraulic fracturing, we had 2 people in favor, 2 people opposed, women in the audience. Their panelists had a formal debate, and then the ladies were able to ask questions of both sides. It never devolved into yelling and screaming. You can have that dialogue, but some of these anti-fracking and activists in the pro-renewable side, this is what it has come to.
Well, it makes you wonder a couple things. One, are they afraid of what these people are going to say? If you need to shout down somebody and threaten them with violence, threaten them that this is a shadow of things to come, what is it that this woman was going to say that would have been so dangerous to their cause? That simple reason couldn't persuade people of their position.
We actually bring up a great point, because chances are when you've resorted to, when the last arsenal in your tool, or the last arsenal you have left is to scream at somebody, then you've probably lost the debate when it comes to fact. But in the court of public opinion, who's going to go up against that? Who wants to challenge that? I mean, people are afraid, and politicians, I'm afraid, will go along with them, as opposed to looking at the science, which is truly on the side of hydraulic fracturing. Now, we at the Independence Institute, we're agnostic on energy sources. We just, affordable, reliable, abundant, yes, clean, safe, all of those things.
Actually, what we despise is corporate welfare. Whether that corporate welfare is going to natural gas or to the coal industry or to the feel-good industries like wind and solar power, which are only propped up by corporate welfare. Corporate welfare is, in my mind, an evil, and I want to get rid of it. But I don't care where it comes from. It's got to stop.
But for these people, hydraulic fracturing is evil, and it kills. I mean, essentially, they're saying it kills babies. It kills children, and they should be discredited. I mean, it's irresponsible speech. They should be discredited, but they won't be. That's the sad thing, unless decent people, good people stand up. And that's one of the things we did with our Hot in the Kitchen debate series. I'm
hopeful that there are people who are against fracking that will denounce this type of activity. Because where is the denunciation? You know, after 9/12, we asked, where are the Islamics who will denounce this? Well, let me ask, where are the environmentalists who will publicly denounce this type of behavior? It's embarrassing for my community of Boulder. I'm ashamed of it. What is it you want to see, real quickly? What is it that you're hoping for in this debate?
Well, I hope that it becomes a more honest debate, but I haven't seen that yet. The only place I've seen that is, again, back to the Independence Institute with that debate series that we had, which was a respectful debate on both sides, and then the ladies got to vote on how they felt. But you can go down to Colorado Springs and you'll see the exact same thing. The shouting of, you know, hydraulic fracturing is evil. Same thing happened, an NREL employee just threatened a mass shooting against a website that was critical of what they were doing at the National Renewable Energy Lab.
This is no joke. She tweeted that she was going to go and have a mass murder. She got her gun.
And in one of the tweets was my picture.
Wonderful. Yeah, people want to get more information. Where do they go?
Go to energy.i2i.org.
Energy.i2i. That's letter I, number 2, letter I.org. Amy, thank you so much. We'll do it again soon.
Thanks for having me.
Stay tuned.